Hey y'all, Instinct Survival's coming again with another Tip Tuesday. This time we're going to continue down the path of primitive technology, and we're going to refer to some primitive weapons. We talked about a frog gig before, we talked about cordage, but we're going to continue down the path with two more primitive weapons and kind of an introduction to these two weapons. And the reason being is because, number one, they're not refined. Number two, although I may seem like it, this is an area I'm still learning a lot on. Every time I turn around, I'm looking at something else or learning some more and doing things like that. Guys, that's the benefit of primitive technology, is we're referring back to the old books, we're referring back to the old things in order to enhance skills, or oops, hey, guess what? I don't have another way to do this, so maybe we want to look at building a friction fire. Maybe we want to look at primitive technology in a survival situation. Maybe we want to look at those different things. So what we're going to break down to today is we're going to talk about the rabbit stick, non-returnable boomerang, throwing stick. Pick a name, right? And then I know that, hey, Donnie Dust, I don't know if you're watching this or not, and that's okay, but I know that he did a great article in American Frontiersman on 5 primitive weapons, and in that he has a couple of other names for said rabbit stick. One of the things you'll see about this is that it is curved. You can use them straight, but there's some factors that we want to talk about as far as dynamics go, or physics if you want to go that route. So we'll get into that in a moment. The other is the Atlatl. Yes, I said it, Atlatl, right? Like rat, rattle. Interesting. Just saw that in the book too. So there's that. And there's some factors that we want to continue working on as far as, I swear it was a dog. Some factors we want to think about that have to be included when making an Atlatl. Okay, one being the spur itself. You can see the two different spurs in this. These are not complete, however, these are functioning, right? They both throw darts. What? This is the Atlatl. This is an Atlatl. The long thing with the point on the end, sometimes with feathers, is the dart, right? That is not the Atlatl, right? This is, right? Atlatl, dart. Okay, and I'll show you those as well. But there's some different pieces and functions that you want to use on these. I stopped with these because I wanted to spend a little bit more time doing some research, functioning out how I want it to be specifically mine. This one's a quickie. It's actually got a stopper at the bottom to keep my hand from slipping. You can see right here. And all that is just basically like you would a baton. Carve around and keeps your hand from sliding off, right? The other being the spur, and then a longer area, right? When you look at length of them, armpit to arm, right? Armpit to hand. So that's kind of the way you look at it. And I think this one's a little shorter. Nope, about the same. So there you go, armpit to hand. That's one of the things you want to think about as well, is you want the lengths based off of what's convenient for you. And what they've seen, what they've found is, especially for an Atlatl, is that from armpit to fingertip, or just shy of that, if I cut my hand around it, that's usually good for me, and it's a good length. This is an extension of your arm. That's all this is. It's an extension of your arm, which actually provides more power with the dart itself. Okay, so you're actually throwing the dart. You're not spinning the dart, flipping the dart, or all that. You're throwing the dart, and we'll get into that in the different pieces of what makes an Atlatl and what makes it successful. So there's that. Again, these are successful. These do work. I have thrown them many times, and we'll cue it up to see about doing that. All right, so let's reposition the camera, and we'll get to exactly what we're looking for. All right, y'all, so here's what we're looking at overall. Notice that this is a curved stick. One side is actually flat, okay? And so while you can purposely make it look like a boomerang, it's not necessary. The thing about a throwing stick, so if it wasn't curved at all, then what we're looking for is something that's definitely bigger on one end than the other. So in this case, I've actually got it flat on one side to make it more like a boomerang. But again, it's non-returning. It's not going to come back. Our purpose is to throw it this way, right, like a boomerang. But what you'll notice is that this has got a tapered side to it, okay, flat, tapered, and then rounded. So it looks, let's see if you can see it this way. You can see the taper in it here. You can see the rounded edge here. And that's what makes this thing successful. Now, keeping in mind that, again, this needs to be honed down or refined a little bit more, in my opinion. I just I haven't done it, and the reason being is because, again, I want to make it mine. I want to make it purposeful. But one thing you do want to do once you've got it to the shape you're looking for is you want to use the straight edge, use a stone or something like that, and kind of bring down those rough edges. What you're doing is decreasing drag. If you want to know the science behind it, you're decreasing drag as far as the aerodynamics of it. And with the fact that you've actually got it at a slant, the air is going to go over and then drop. That's just the way it is. It's like an airfoil or a wing on a plane, if you will. And so also by making it this way, you'll notice that this side is a lot thicker. And because of that, it's going to have more weight. Now, when we throw this, what happens in this is being able to go in and break a leg to an animal in amongst a flock of birds. You'll be able to knock them down. Different things like that. They call it a rabbit stick because if you swing it or throw it from your shoulder down at an angle, so you're throwing it this way, then what happens in that is it's going to go towards the legs or neck and possibly hit one of those first. So it then helps you to go in, if I pick it up on the way, club if need be, or maybe that does drop them or kill them at that point. All right, so for the Atlatls, what you'll notice on that is two specific things that are required, if you will, for this to work. Number one, you have to have a spur, right? You have to have the spur for it, and this is for the dart to mate with the actual Atlatl, right? And that's what it boils down to. The other is you got to have something to hold on to. Now in this case, I've actually got a quick one, and thank you Cowboy Moorhead again for this. But being able to take and keep your hand from sliding down. So you can see I can push and it catches, right? So it's one of those things. This one, I don't have a catch on it because I may put leather straps on here, or what you can do is you can actually make it to where it's wider here, if you will, and in that width you may put finger holes in it. So there's a couple of different options for that. There's some research that you can do. Certainly this is not going to be the only post about Atlatls for me, but this is giving you the idea, right? Is being able to go in and put your finger loops in there. You can do I saw one with a single finger loop as well, so I could take and hold on to it that way. A lot of different functions and ways to go in and utilize that. So what we're looking for though, and we'll use this one first, is when you create your Atlatl, you want to go in and make sure that it's mating with the dart. Now, I can go in and use this one. That's fine because this is one I created at the same time. And you'll notice it sits in there in the cup and it works just fine, right? So the spur mates to the cup. In this case, it's cane, and it's just cut right before the notch. Okay, so it matches fine. I can hold on to it and we're good to go. The other side about it is if I take and use the other one, what you'll see is it won't sit down in there. It'll pop every single time. So if I made it here and then try to, you see it pops off every single time. However, switching it up, I have another one that will work. So again, you need to kind of work out that cradle, if you will, to make sure that it lines in there or sits down in there like it's supposed to. And so you want to make sure that it does lay down specifically. You can create a trough in it. And in that trough, what you're doing is you're just cutting out the edges of it so that that dart lays down a little bit better. And you're just going in and holding it that way. So again, an extension of the arm designed for more power over a spear and to travel longer distances. So that's it. Basically, again, it's an introduction, kind of a very, very, very high level overview of both the rabbit stick and the Atlatl. Now, when looking at the rabbit stick, some of you go, well, Bill, really, a rabbit stick? Yeah, the reality is it's been traced back to Egyptians, right? The hieroglyphics on the paintings, or in the paintings, if you will, of them actually utilizing a throwing stick. Then we start transitioning into other areas, and we start looking at the ability to just literally throw a stick and hit something. So you can hit the squirrels, you can hit birds, blah, 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 blah. We've already talked about all that. So that's kind of the reality of things. Again, if you're off hunting and you're ready to roll, boom, done. Dinner is served. So that's kind of the way it boils down to. The other side of it is we talked about A very, very quick, this is a holly branch with a spur. I'd probably drop this a little shorter, but you can see the point literal, the spur, and a very quick atlatl to throw. So there's that one. And again, these, and again, being able to mate the dart overall, one of the other things you might want to know about, and again, do your research. That's what I'm going to tell you to do. And then I'll post up some more stuff on instinctsurvivalist.com. Don't forget to check it out. Ready to throw. Again, setting, ready to roll. Touche, done. And then this one, that one was a hardened tip foreshaft. This one's actually got bottle glass, and we'll get that one going as well. Again, not a professional. I got folks that are teaching me, so there's that. Again, setting. Ooh, that one went nice. All right, scared the crap out of the dogs. Anyway, the other side about it, and the thing about an atlatl is this: I've thrown the dart, I've wounded an animal. Time to finish it off, right? It's kind of the way it goes. If you look at some of the older ones, if you look at some of the ones from the other cultures, some have got stones on them for weight and power, as well as some of them actually have glass embedded in the side or obsidian embedded in the side for cutting, chopping, and things of that nature. So it's a battle item as well as a hunting item, and this was, a fireboard, and the list goes on and on and on. Being able to use it for fires, being able to use it for multiple things. It's not just a weapon. So there's all that as well. So guys, I want to give big shout outs to the following people. Cowie Moorhead helped me with 2.0, which is this one with the stop on it and being able to get those thrown. He also helped me to hone and refine how to do number 1.0, if you will. Justin Cook for 1.0, as well as the first dart made and the napping of the bottle. So there's that. Stephen Watts, I know these guys aren't watching, but I want to give credit where credit's due. Stephen Watts and his books, and being able to read some of that information. Scott Jones, nice archaeologist down here in Georgia, has got some great information in his books, both viewed in the past as well as postcards from the past. Both of those books are available at mediaprehistoria.com. So there's that. You can search for them. I'll try to find the link and throw that in the comments. And then Donnie Dust, I've already mentioned his name. Done some research lately, been watching him from his stuff, and again his posts lately for the 5 primitive weapons in American Frontiersmen. So hey guys, thanks for all the likes, comments, subscriptions, the likes, comments, subscribes, and shares. So don't forget about those. It's been a long day already. Guys, just thanks for all you do. That's what it boils down to. Until then, use your instincts to survive. Thanks for watching. Ooh, left-handed. Maybe. Oh, hey, if you're still watching, Operation Optimize. I'll put the link down below if you're interested. So check it out.